Hey, greetings to you, Mark. We haven't spoken in a bit here, though. We go back sometime here, back a year ago in January. We actually met. Our first time ever was indeed at a live event. That's how we got to know each other. I barely knew you before that, other than this, your branding video. And your branding video was sweet. It was awesome. It was an eye grabber, extremely well done. And, it's like, okay, this guy is going somewhere. And then, that video tied into your product that you launched at that live event called Leadership Branding, and with direct response marketing. Thank you. And then from there, our relationship picked up quite a bit from that live event, so much so that I then was a guest at your live event in Vegas, Leadership Branding, and then once again another live event in San Francisco. So now you're going to be at my live event. How's that work?
It's reciprocity. It's how the whole game is played, and it's the important thing to note out of that is, you've been one of the most influential relationships in a business sense that I've had, and we met at a live event, and the video that won your eyes to be interested in me was by a video guy, Joey, who does video for you now too.
That's right.
I met him at a live event. And literally my programmers, everything, every good thing, every big and good thing has come from live events in my life.
Well, and okay, that's right, Joey. I have utilized his talents, and I'm going to take another step further. I then met someone at your hobnobbing event out in Vegas who is now filming my entire event, the Great Wealth Transfer Conference, and that being Glenn Arcaro. So I am telling you, it is one amazing web of connections, and I got to say, it doesn't happen without showing up at a live event. That's just the fact of the matter.
Totally, and everybody who's watching this, just understand what internet marketing and what internet business is the internet is nothing more than a platform of communication. It's not the ultimate end-all, be-all. And so the really high stakes, $1 million plus people, they use the internet to attract, and then they use offline. They go offline, and that's where the real collaborations, that's where the big money and the big deals get made, is offline. So
it truly is. Yep, absolutely. Now, Mark, you you call me the matriarch of the industry, which I had no problem with that. Correspondingly, I would say for you, you are you're the relationship man. You're the connector. You're the go-between. I will go so far as to say you're the peacemaker. I mean that because, in our case, it's a smaller niche, but it's really key and important that relationships stay even-keeled despite things that happen in the background and this and that. You're a master at it, of really helping to be that, I don't know, I guess a middleman type of a person that is so needed that, I guess the term I was thinking to go with is pastor of the industry. It is pastoral, as in, it's kind of a flock of sorts, it's this flock of people. And I think they look to our leadership to see that there are peaceful relationships amongst the leaders that really serves everybody's best interest so that everyone can buckle down, stick to the business at hand, keeping the hand of the plow, so to speak. And I think it's through your wisdom that is through going back. We don't have to go to, if I may say, New Age concepts to figure this out. The wisdom is already there. Yeah. And that's what I love about what you bring to the industry is not newfangled fancy stuff. No, I think we're better served, I believe personally. I think you and I are more on the same page in this regard, is wisdom. So from that wisdom, which you definitely have and impart, there are distinct business strategies. I mean, the success that you've had is because you understand this wisdom. You have the ear for it. You're not the one with the deaf ear out in the streets, as wisdom shouts out. You're willing to receive wisdom, and then you impart that wisdom. So I want to hear about some of the strategies you're going to be teaching people.
with Solomon CEO, for those of you who don't know my story in a nutshell, a few years ago we qualified for welfare. My wife was pregnant and barefoot, literally. We lived in a trailer park. We lived in two different trailers the first 5 years of our marriage, qualified for welfare, lived below the poverty line the entire time. And what happened was when I started the business, I was familiar with the book of Proverbs. I grew up reading it. It was I knew every verse. I still do. I can quote. I mean, if someone starts a verse, I can finish it in the whole book. But when I started the business, I went back to it and I saw it with business eyes instead of just trying to be spiritual eyes. And what I'd do is I'd look at a verse and I'd imagine what would that look like if it was in my business right now. And I'd literally close my eyes and imagine what would it look like. And so one strategy from King Solomon is that in a multitude of counselors, there is safety, and with wise advice, you wage your own war. So I made a 12-page booklet that is it's a selling mechanism. And I know the ad copy, the price conditioning, the urgency, the scarcity, and I hit all the triggers. I felt really good about it. But at the same time, I wasn't so caught up in my ego that I disobeyed the idea of a multitude of counselors. So what I did was I used 12 of my top leaders that I respect, and I sent them the proofs of this 12-page booklet because I just got the proofs back with the visuals, the fonts, and the whole setup of the booklet. And I said, would you please, if you want to, print out this whole booklet, look at it through the eyes of a prospect, and let me know if any critiques on the fonts, the verbiage, if there's any incongruence with the photos, and just spend a few minutes on it and get back with me by Friday. Now, what happened there, Ann, was in that multitude of counselors, I have opened myself up to receive critique and rebuke, and that could hurt my ego, right? You'd think, and that's why Solomon says, soften your neck and learn. So there's a lot of principles going on with this thing, but basically, if you look at it mathematically, I just took my wisdom and multiplied it by about 12, or let's say they're half as smart as me. I multiplied it by 6 times, okay? And I saved myself hours, and we're gonna emerge with a better product for the team. And this is a principle of, there's 2 secrets there. One is using the multitude of counselors. The other one is softening your neck and getting out of your ego enough to allow people to look at your work and say, I want the critique. Don't tell me how great it is. I know it's good. I want what you think isn't perfect. I want this sucker perfect. So, those are 2 principles, and that's the difference between somebody who does something all by themselves and spends hours and hours and 10 months making this stupid booklet, and then they emerge it to the marketplace, and it gets in front of people, and they go, oh, this doesn't even work. Mm-hmm. See, I just saved a lot of time by using the multitude of counselors, softening my neck to be able to receive critique. That's what wisdom is. Wisdom is not all-knowing. Wisdom is really using other people, and we need each other. We were built for each other, and really working in that synergistic mindset at all times.
Couldn't agree more. What comes to mind is the way I look at accumulating wealth, and here in the Great Wealth Transfer Conference, some people in a limited mindset will think of it strictly in quote-unquote asset classes like stock market, here now currently more so precious metals, etc. I don't see it that way. That's part of it. But it's almost minimal in scope when you consider the greatest wealth transfer really taking place is this big shift taking place as people are, the whole global economy is changing, as people move out of traditional traditional jobs. They're now having to move into the status as an independent contractor, etc. Just major shifts going on all over. To me, far and above, the biggest resource, bar none, beyond silver, gold, all that kind of stuff, it's people resources. It's the human resources. But a limited mindset will only see it and feel it of what they can touch with their hands. And that's almost, it's a part of the equation, but again, one key relationship can take you to a $10,000, if you're in limited resources right now, to perhaps $1 million business relationships. The money, or more so I like to call it, the wealth, is in the human relationships. But a limited mindset is so fixated on little things, little small-minded things, I'm going to say it that way, of $1. They hold hard and fast onto a dollar. They don't see the bigger transaction going on is between the human relationships, and their net worth is through their net work. So go ahead.
It's completely, the human being able to manage and grow. I mean, growing human potential. So not just taking a static relationship, and you're Ann, I'm me, we come together, we do a deal. Okay, that's one kind of okay base model. But if I can come to you and you can come to me and we get better because of each other, we literally are sharpening each other.
Yep.
Like you're better because of me and I'm better because of you. We've just upped our skills and upped our wisdom, and now we have more value. And just a case in point with you specifically, Anne, I talked to one of your brand new clients, and he told me he sold millions in travel before. And he said he's known you and he's worked with you. He has total respect for you. You pointed him in our direction. And so he called me, and I talked to him for 30 minutes. We haven't even talked about this, but basically he said, I believe in Anne 100%. She believes in you 100%. And we're ready to do a lot of business in the next year with you, like a lot. So our relationship potentially is transacting into, I think a significant amount of potential, we'll say anyway. But that's just how it is. It's that whole interconnectivity, especially if you're in the network marketing zone at all. The wealth is people.
The wealth is people and investing in them. So I'm really excited to have you as a presenter, Mark, and your amazing networking capabilities. I will stand really firmly with this for the respect that I have for you as a leader in the industry, that you are this almost point man of really helping to solidify relationships all over the place, because you have those deeper understandings of human nature, and can work above that, of all the things that play out. I mean, working with people, well, let's say it for what it is. It can be messy, but there's a wonderful verse from Proverbs about when the oxen are in the, you've got to know this one. So you got it.
Crib is clean, right? It's
yes.
where there's no oxen. The crib is clean. Mm-hmm. But a rich harvest comes from the strength of an ox. So if you want, oxen are going to poop, they're going to pee, they're going to be disastrous, they're messy, they're expensive, but they're an asset.
That's
and
right.
And they cause riches.
And that is my parallel in working with people. And into some sense, you have to have a love and affection, and more so appreciation is probably the better word, for the messiness of it all. It comes with it, but it's knowing how to work with that, like raising kids. And that was really my initial network, and I invested tremendously into my family, and it's come back to pay me richly. They are now my business partners, because I nurtured that most core and dear and important relationship of all was with my husband and my children, and now that's come back to pay me in this wonderful way that I didn't know it was going to play out. But it's that appreciating the messiness and loving it, despite the challenges of it. I find it just more so intriguing and fascinating, and I just love it. So
yeah, it's the intrigue of working with people is incredible, because it's an enigma. And what King Solomon writes at the start of that book is, he said, this book is about the enigmas. Like, it's not a cookie cutter, do this, say this, do that, and everything will happen.
Right.
I mean, there's enigmas. Like, at one level, when you're working with somebody, I had a business partner call me and he said, Mark, I just want you to know, I had some real estate go south. I have some really bad press against me. I was indicted but not convicted of this thing, and it was a real estate, and there's two sides of the story. And he said, I'm not sure. I just want you to know this before. Will you still work with me? That was his question. Oh. And I said, did you learn your lesson? I said, I believe in redemption.
Right.
That's the basis of my life, is redemption. Hey, if you want to come in and mix it up and keep your integrity, just the fact that you told me tells me enough about you that you learned your lesson and that you have integrity and you have goodwill. And I said, anybody who wouldn't work with you because of something in your past, and if you're a good guy, I mean, I'm over it. So at one level, you've got to be able to believe in transformation. You know, if everybody's made in the image of God, they've got a lot of potential. So that's one hand. On the other hand, I might be on the phone and listen to somebody for 30 seconds and just smell, I'm not going to do any business with this person, even if they want me to.
Right. Yeah.
There's an enigma. Even though, yes, they're still made in the image of God. Yes, this and that. But no. So a lot of it is very gut level.
I was just going to use that word. I'm a big believer in going with your gut. It's God-given. It's there as a sense to speak to you, that warning. So absolutely. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing you in just a few short weeks here, Mark. People will be well served through the information. I like to look at, I think information is is not a proper way to explain it. It's more so the experience. It's that full experience of both hearing what you have to share, and then that people are going to be able to connect and speak with you. We do have a breakout session, and so they're going to be able to learn more from you in that way as well. So I thank you so much for your time, Mark, and also just for being a leader in our industry and locking arms of sorts to be able to better serve this industry.
And I'm honored to be a part of the conference. I'm really excited about it. We are in interesting, energetic times, and it's an opportunistic time. It's going to be an opportunistic time and a legacy creating time for a whole bunch of people. And then for other people, it's going to be the story of their life, how they didn't take advantage of all the opportunities ahead. So I think this conference is important, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Awesome. We'll see you there, Mark.
Thanks, Ann.